A.com.
Justice Department has filed suit against Maine, challenging the state's policy on transgender athletes competing in girls' and women's sports. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
We have exhausted every other remedy. We tried to get Maine to comply. We don't like standing up here and filing lawsuits. We want to get states to comply with us. That's what this is about.
Maine Governor Janet Mills says she expected the lawsuit, calling it part of a pressure campaign. A day after a new autism study was released, the Health and Human Services Secretary weighs in.
In its own literature about autism spectrum disorder, the CDC cites genetic conditions as one potential cause. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. suggests that
genes don't cause epidemics. You need an environmental toxin.
And he thinks it's not an accident.
Somebody made a profit by putting that environmental toxin into our air, our water, our medicines, our food.
Kennedy has vowed to determine the source of what he calls the autism epidemic. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Florida's House has passed a bill limiting projects like golf courses at state parks. Fort Benning in Georgia was renamed to Fort Moore in 2023, and now it has a new name, Fort Benning, but a different soldier. The name honors Fred Benning, who served as a corporal at 18 years old during World War I and was awarded the nation's second highest honor for battlefield bravery. I'm Dave Packer, ABC News.
He's coming. Here we go. Surprise! Your table saw broke. Also, the warranty expired weeks ago, so you need to pay for a new one out of pocket.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Oh, and the replacement part you ordered doesn't fit, so it's completely useless. What a waste.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
It's now 5:05 on this Wednesday afternoon. I'm Will Field with your KPNU News Update. Well, a group of citizens reportedly detained a teenage boy yesterday after he tried to steal a box of cigars from the Hiram Chevron and attempted to flee on foot, according to law enforcement. Now, the theft was reported around 12:40 p.m. Cache County Sheriff's Lieutenant Tim Ramirez said that initial evidence suggests that the male juvenile had stolen the cigars from behind the counter and then fled the store on foot toward a nearby neighborhood. Now, an employee followed the individual outside and notified others in the area. A group of nearby teenagers became aware of the incident and began pursuing the suspect. Now, during the foot chase, a man who had been refueling his vehicle at the gas station also became involved. Ramirez said the suspect initially stopped near a fence, but then jumped over it in an attempt to escape. The teenagers, meanwhile, continued after him, eventually detaining him until deputies arrived. Now, during the encounter, the suspect reportedly made threats toward the individuals holding him down, and one of the teens received a minor abrasion during the struggle. Deputies say they responded to the call of a retail theft in progress, taking the male juvenile into custody without further incident. Well, traffic along I-15 was slowed yesterday after a semi-truck slammed into the back of a farm tractor that was driving on the northbound shoulder. Now, the crash occurred around 2 o'clock near mile marker 382 in Garland. It's about 2 miles north of the I-84 interchange. Utah Highway Patrol Lieutenant Cameron Roden said that the farm tractor was driving on the right shoulder of the interstate, but partially blocking the right lane. Now, as the semi-truck approached the tractor from behind, the driver tried to swerve, but struck the back of the trailer. Now, the force of the impact separated the cab from the rest of the truck. Troopers reported that debris was scattered all over the roadway and forced the interstate closed temporarily until one lane could be cleared. And with tax day yesterday, a new report from Wallet Hub is shedding light on how much Utahns paid in state and local taxes. Now, according to the study, Utah ranks 14th in the nation for overall tax burden. Now, that means that residents pay nearly 9.5% of their income on taxes, including 2.2% on property taxes, 3.3% on income taxes, and almost 4% on sales and excess taxes. Now, by comparison, Idaho ranked much lower at 41st, while Wyoming was near the bottom at 49th, thanks in part to having no state income tax. Now, the highest tax burden in the country went to Hawaii, where residents give up nearly 14% of their income in state and local taxes, while Alaska, on the other hand, had the lowest tax burden overall. Well, a storm coming in tonight's going to bring some showers after midnight with some colder temperatures to finish off the week, as tonight will be down into the low 40s with rain beginning overnight. That'll turn into a mix of rain and snow tomorrow, as we'll see temperatures around 50 for a high. The storm expected to last through Friday morning, and then it'll start to clear up by Friday afternoon. Looks like we'll finish off the week with high temperatures Friday around 48, and then we'll see a mix of sun and clouds for Easter weekend. And news and weather this hour brought to you by Edson Builders. They've recently teamed up with Innovative Home Finishes, and whether you're on a budget or building your forever home, contact Edson Builders and Innovative Home Finishes at 232-2680. They promise a higher quality and better building experience. And I'm Will Feelwright with your KVNU News Update. Another check of local news coming up at the bottom of the hour.
Today's hearing aid technology can improve not only your life, but the lives of the people who care about you. Once again, you'll be able to hear the reason for their laughter and understand conversations. Dr. Paul Daines at Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology will customize a hearing improvement program to meet your unique requirements, whatever they are. Call Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology for an appointment and let them show you how.
Bring back what you've been missing. Bring back Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology.
The station for news and talk. KVNU 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Our 100th spring is right around the corner. After a long winter's sleep, the open road is calling. And Murdoch GMC Chevrolet Cadillac can help you take those curves in style. Right now, take up to $10,000 off a new Sierra 1500. When you walk through our doors, you feel like family. At Murdoch Chevrolet GMC Cadillac in Logan or online at MurdochChevroletLogan.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Call 888-391-6083. See dealer for complete details. Offer expires 4/30/25.
In our rural communities, EMS volunteers stand ready to help every day. Volunteers are ordinary people performing extraordinary acts. Many of these heroes lack access to essential health insurance for themselves and their families. It's time to give back. Utah has a new program that offers no-cost medical, dental, life, and long-term disability insurance to our rural EMS volunteers. Families may also be eligible for low-cost options. Become a licensed EMT, AEMT, or paramedic, and you and your family may be eligible. Visit utahcounties.org to learn more. That's utahcounties.org.
Whoever you are, young or a little gray, hop on Connect Transit. We're on our way. Wherever you're headed, work, school, or play, we'll get you there the easy way. No parking, no traffic, no worries, no fuss. Just sit back, relax, and ride with us. Skip the hassle, skip the drive. With Connect Transit, you'll arrive. Connect Transit. We're going your way. Visit rideconnectutah.gov to find your ride today.
All through the night, I'll be awake and I'll be with you. All through the night, this precious time when time is new.
Welcome to KVN News for the People, hour 2 of today's show. It is still April 16th, and it is still, 2 degrees warmer. 66 degrees when we started the show. Now it's 68. It is beautiful outside. And thanks again to Logan City Mayor Holly Daines for spending first hour with us. If you missed that, it will be up on the podcast later this evening, and you can subscribe to the podcast. Simply search for KVN News for the People on whatever podcast subscription app you choose to use. Moving right along, we have a special guest joining. I'll just say guest. We have here in the studio Director of the Summer Citizens Program, Jeanette Esplin, and no one else. We're just going to put her in the spotlight and see what happens. No, I'm kidding. I say this because I was informed as we start here that Jeanette is nervous, first time on the radio, and so we'll make it very difficult for her for the next hour. and Jaime Andrus, CEO and president of the Cache Chamber of Commerce. And we invited them into the studio because we've been hearing whispers and comments from listeners, from people in the community, from people our sales team had talked to, business owners, locals, basically, saying, the Summer Citizens Program without Utah Festival Opera, it's really scaled back this year. It's a lot less will be happening. We're nervous, and I knew from talking with you, Jaime, and others, and Jeanette's going to be here to help fill this out as well. But I knew that saying the Summer Citizens Program was scaled back this year is one of the most incorrect things. In fact, I would almost feel that the panic last fall when Utah Festival Opera made their announcement they're going to be taking the summer off led to people stepping up to fill the gap in a way that this is actually, I think, one of the bigger summer citizen programs that we've seen in a while. And so for listeners, we'll talk about it, what's new, and specifically why locals will want to get involved with the director, again, Jeanette Esplin here in the studio, and President and CEO of the Cache Chamber of Commerce, Jaime Andrus. And Jaime, bad timing on our part inviting you in today because you just had your big leadership luncheon event yesterday. But before we get into specifically the Summer Citizens Program, there's still stuff on the calendar, right, for the Chamber? There always is.
You know it, Jason. We have tomorrow a really cool new event that we're doing with BTEC. It's their big career fair for all of their automatic, well, we're calling it Automate Utah. And so we're going to have some speakers in the morning around the manufacturing sector. We have about, I don't know, how many people are coming? 100?
Yeah, about that.
About 100 people. Wow. Half-day kind of conferences. And then in the afternoon, Matt Fuller from Bridgerland Technical College is bringing 400 students into the county event center to meet with all the employers. And these are all the students that are learning about automated manufacturing and welding, and we're not really sure, but a lot of students are coming, and they'll hear the keynote speaker at lunch and then have some lunch with us, and then they're free to go and visit with all the employers.
That is very cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of a combined event. It's our first time, so we'll see how it goes.
This is exciting. Manufacturing's on everybody's mind right now, with everything going on at the national level. But I learned recently that Cache Valley has, more so than most other parts of the state, has a really still vibrant manufacturing base, and those are steady, stable jobs for people. But it amazes me how eclectic our economy is.
Well, it's one of the reasons, and I think you and I talked about this before, but it is what diversifies our economy, and our manufacturers are an incredible part of our economy in Cache Valley. There's some statistics about per capita, but really, if you think about, just look around the manufacturers. But then you've got to remember we've got these wonderful kind of tech manufacturers. Yeah. So when you look at Juniper Systems and Campbell Scientific and Autonomous Solutions and EP Systems, those are all manufacturers in that sector, but a little bit different, right? So we've got JBS and West Point Dairy and Gosner and Schreiber and Pepperidge and Casper's. Lauer Foods. Think about it. We've got a lot of manufacturers in Cache Valley.
And we should point out, too, that state economist Mark Knoll says the reason Cache Valley weathers recessions so much better than the rest of the state and the rest of the country are those food service jobs and education jobs. So
and think of that in COVID, too.
Rising tides, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So the Automate Summit Conference and Career Fair is April 17th at the Cache County Events Center, and you can find information on registering at cachechamber.com. And then that leads us, a perfect segue here, a week later roughly, April 29th, the Greater Cache Valley Economic Summit at the Riverwoods Conference Center, hosted by the Cache Valley Chamber of Commerce, of course, with Bank of Utah as a sponsor. Also, registration information for that at cashchamber.com. But this, how does this economic summit differ from? So you also do the big Excellence in Manufacturing summit, right?
Right, in the fall.
In the fall.
Yeah.
So is this just kind of a broader look at everything summit?
This is a partnership with more of a workshop to go with it.
Oh,
so we've got so many manufacturers. They need more than one time a year to get together. And the Northern Utah Manufacturing Excellence Summit and the NUMMI conference in the fall is a little broader. It's a little more for this, I don't know. We noticed that the type of people coming to that were more CEOs, more business owners, a little broader. This is a little bit the same, but a little bit different. So
this is trying to. I want to put a plug in for one of your guest speakers at the Greater Cache Valley Economic Summit, because many listeners might know his name. When he's joined us here on the show, he's been on as a representative of, at one time, Cache County, and now a representative of Bragg. And I've known him for a long time, and he's so fun to tease, so I like to say his last name, Milne.
Oh, Sean.
It annoys him. If you ever want to annoy Sean, say Sean Milne. I've known Sean. So I first met Sean about a decade ago on Twitter. He was working with Tooele City or County, one of the two.
County.
And we argued. We were so mean to each other online, but we became friends.
Oh, awesome.
And then Cache County hired him, and now he works with Bragg. And I just want to say, I don't think there's a person in this state that understands economic growth, specifically as an investment in when you look ahead and say, okay, what kind of businesses do we want to draw in? What do we want to make sure our economy has making it up over the next 20 years? Because you do get a little bit of say over that, right? You can incentivize certain types of, say you realize manufacturing is very low in your local economy and you want to incentivize more of that. You can do that to some extent successfully. And I don't think anyone understands that better than Sean. And he's going to be speaking at the summit.
He's going to moderate a panel of experts from 47G. This is the new aerospace and defense sector. So we're going to have an update on what's hot in the aerospace.
That's very cool.
So you're going to want to come. Then we're going to have an economist. Our good old Michael Jean-Fro is going to talk to us at lunch. And David Zook's going to give us a state of the county.
Very nice.
To start off the day. So it's going to be a shortened event. Again, this is a partnership. This is our new goal for this year, is becoming partners with other groups to put on our events.
That's a very good idea.
And that way we can add more variety a little more often with our small team. We don't have a lot of manpower. We have women power, actually, all of us.
That women power, though, is impressive because looking at the Cache Chamber of Commerce calendar each month, there isn't a week that goes by that there isn't an event or two or three each week, year round. So I say that just to kind of plug the chamber. If you're a business owner, Jamie, I talk to a lot of business owners that think, oh, this isn't for me. This is for the CEO or the general manager at Icon or iFit now or the large companies, Gosner's. But you can be a sole proprietor or a business with just you and one employee, you and 20 employees. And there is, look at the calendar and the guest speakers at the leadership luncheons, these conferences like Automate and the broader economic summit. And any business owner would learn so much from all of this.
Even a home business, sole proprietor. Yeah. We have a lot of those, and nonprofits.
Sure.
We have over 100 nonprofits that are members of our chamber.
Yeah.
And it's a great, affordable way for them to learn about the business community and get connections. We really connect people together.
It's a very cool organization. And Jamie, I dare say what you've done with it has been impressive. So for listeners, take advantage. You can become a member. A lot of these events, you don't have to be a member. Sometimes the tickets are, $5-10 more expensive if you're not a member. But there are a lot of benefits to being a member. Specifically, we should mention this coming up August 2nd through the 9th for this is cheap actually for a couple of $1,000, and basically an all-inclusive Iceland trip. Now, there's a purpose to this, right? This isn't just fun. I mean, it's going to be fun, of course.
What is the purpose?
But to go to Iceland.
It's to go to Iceland.
That alone, I've been, and I recommend it to everybody, especially if you're a fan of the Alien movies. I think most of them were filmed there in different parts of Iceland.
Oh, my
yeah.
God.
You can actually do a tour. There's a van tour. They put you on a van with these big balloon tires and drive you out on the glacier, or the Game of Thrones series. No, this is there is a reason this happens, right? This is part of kind of building community within the chamber.
Sure. It's going on a really great excursion with a group of people from your area that you know or may not know, but at least you know somebody on the trip. We have a lot of fun, but this group that books our travel and plans our trips for us, they only do trips for chambers of commerce.
That's interesting.
And they've really, this will be our third trip. I've been on another trip with this group. I mentioned this before, but other chambers around the state also have used this booking group, and they're very, very well done.
That is very cool.
So you're going to get a great trip for the price. It will be very organized. You'll have a wonderful tour guide that knows more than you can ever take in. You'll have a luxury bus, hotel, 2 meals a day. It's really going to be a great trip. We're excited.
That is, I honestly, just exciting stuff in general through the Cash Chamber, and this is a great place to kind of spotlight that. Cashchamber.com again, and be involved. Even if you are not ready to become a member, check out their events each week on the calendar. I guarantee you'll learn something. And I have a kind of a personal story on all this, in that I was so overwhelmed in my first year of business. I thought I was done. I thought, okay, this is not for me. And I sat down at one of the luncheons next to an attorney, a business attorney, and we were just talking. And I said, this is, it's so complicated. This is what's stressing me out. And he said, oh, just do this. And then he turned and talked to someone else, solved all my problems, took all my stress away with this flippant, oh, just do this, like I was a moron. And then he just turned and talked to somebody else like it was no big deal. But that changed everything for me. And that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't sitting there chatting, over food, good food. So cashchamber.com. As I mentioned, here in the studio with us, President and CEO of the Chamber, Jaime Andrus. And this week she brought a friend with her, Jenna Esplin, director of the Cash Logan Summer Citizen Program. We've been hearing rumblings from locals saying that they feel like the Summer Citizen Program is going to be scaled back a little bit this year with no Utah Festival Opera for the year or for the summer. Well, nothing could be further from the truth, and we're going to talk to you locals on why you want to be a part of this right after this.
Here's Chad Norton, the lawn doctor, with another tip for your lawn.
It's been a wet, cool, crazy year for your lawn. Soil temperatures have been slow to warm up. Over the next few weeks, you'll see weeds fight for space and try to take over your lawn. Dandelions pack about 200 seeds on each flower. Those seeds can blow up to 5 miles and live up to 7 years. We can help you win the weed battle. Call the Lawn Doctor at 753-LAWN or go to lawndoctor.com.
This is Jordan with Primrose Home Care and Hospice, and I'm here with Barbara. Barbara, how did you become acquainted with Primrose?
I had been trying to get another company to come and help me, and I had waited about 2 weeks, and I needed a bath. My neighbor suggested that she would make a few phone calls, and that very afternoon, Mark Stokes was sitting in my front room, and he said, "What do you need?"
Primrose Home Care and Hospice. We're your home team.
Set sail with Princess Cruises for unforgettable destinations, luxury amenities, and world-class service. From the Caribbean to Alaska to Europe and Asia, every Princess Cruise is a dream come true. Book your cruise today with Morris Columbus Travel, your vacation experts. Visit morriscolumbus.com.
Come on and get away, Morris.
Thursday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show, the absolute latest on the Trump administration holding Maine accountable for allowing men to compete against women. What is going on with the tariff war with China, and we'll dive into legality surrounding the El Salvador battle when it comes to illegals being deported and potentially forced to be returned. All that and more, we'll break it down for you. Come hang with us on Clay and Buck.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
People stay just a little bit longer. We want to play just a little bit longer.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. It's just, Jamie, I apologize. It's just been one of those days. And Jeanette, I almost said movie show. That's 2 days from now. I have no idea what's going wrong with my brain. But we're here, and Jaime Andrus, CEO and president of the Cash Chamber of Commerce, and Jeanette Esplin here with us today as well, director of the Logan Summer Citizen Program. And we asked them to come back in. Jamie and I had touched on this just briefly when we were talking about the Chamber's business during her regular monthly segment a few weeks ago. We asked them to come back in because we'd been hearing, some of our sales staff had mentioned it to me, that they had heard this from community members. I'd heard it myself. We had a few listeners say this, but locals seem to be thinking that with Utah Festival Opera taking a summer off, that the Summer Citizen Program is going to be kind of low-key, scaled back this year. And I feel the opposite has happened, that a panic set in when Utah Festival Opera said they were going to take the summer off. And to fill that hole, people started stepping up, and then they've gone above and beyond to where I feel like this Summer Citizen Program actually more is happening. And Jeanette, you agreed to come in and kind of answer that question, right?
Sure did.
Well, agreed in that I asked and Jamie said you had to, and you didn't really want to because.
There's a first time for everything, right? Anyway, thank you again for inviting us. This is a good opportunity to let everybody know that we have not scaled back the Summer Citizen Program, and in fact, I think we're on track to have more registered than we did last year.
Wow.
We have over 450 already registered, and last year about this time we probably were at 400, but that might have been because they didn't trust us yet. But I think we're really on track to have more this year. And we only heard a few grumblings about some of the summer citizens that didn't want to come back because of the opera. But I think we've assured them that they'll have plenty to do when they're here this summer.
Yeah, the local theater companies. Charlie and I talk about this on the Theater Hour every Thursday. But the local theater production companies have really stepped up. Yes. And it's awkward for Charlie and I because you never want to say, oh, we're glad the Utah Festival Opera isn't here. But in a way, this will be kind of a fun change to have some of these other things going on. And you had a chance to go to Arizona and kind of pitch this to the summer citizens, the non-locals, right? What was the response?
We only had one couple, maybe two couples ask us about the theater.
Really?
About the opera. And we took Wendy Hassan with us, and she had a laundry list of all the theaters around the valley and all of the plays that they were going to be doing this summer and all the ones that will be at the Ellen Eccles as well. And the summer citizens were just ecstatic about what they had to offer this summer and for them to see. So
that is.
So we took a week in January, and we went down there, and we went from place to place to place. How many places did we see?
10.
10 different communities, senior communities in the Phoenix area. And actually, we went clear down to Tucson, Green Valley, so south of Tucson. We had groups of people at every place. So by the end of the week, we had seen over 600 summer citizen faces.
Really?
Most of them have never been here before.
Really?
Some of them were the returning folks. There was a smattering in every group. But we did a full-on recruiting trip, and we gave them a ton of things to do.
Very cool.
We've got extra tours that they can attend this summer.
Yeah.
So if you go to our website, and you see at the very top toolbar, you'll see Summer Citizens. If you click on that and then you click on events, you'll just scroll and see all the events Jeanette's put on there for him to do.
And still have more to go.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this, and we should, so we've got to go to a news break here, but we should back up just a little bit and say, this is the second year, right, that the Chamber has run the program.
Correct.
This was a USU thing for years, and then USU said they kind of want to step back from managing the program and focus more on the educational aspects of it, because they offer classes at USU and BTech and others for Summer Citizens and locals. But this in the second year, obviously you got your footing in that first year, and now you're stepping it up. This, I don't know, it's exciting to see. And if you're a Cache Valley community member and you've never had a chance to have a conversation with a Summer Citizen, you should, because it's inspiring.
And by the way, you can sign up and be a Summer Citizen yourself.
That's what
anybody can.
Surprisingly, a lot of locals don't know that. And so again, that's why we invited Jaime and Jeanette in here to talk about this today. And so on the other side of the news, if you're a local and you are, and this is really for anyone of any age, but if you are interested in these activities, or if you're interested in even inquiring about the Summer Citizen program, it is for you too. So how you can do that and what you can expect with our guests here in the studio, again, President and CEO of the Cache Chamber of Commerce, Jaime Andrus, and Director of the Logan Summer Citizen Program, Jeanette Esplin, here in the studio. If you have questions, 753-5868, and we'll be back right after this look at the news with KVNU's We'll Feel Right.
Well, thank you, Jason. A storm headed our way, going to be bringing some rain, even a possibility of some snow to some parts of northern Utah and southeast Idaho. I'll get to your weather forecast in just a minute, as the news this hour is brought to you by Mount Logan Laundry. Well, a 32-year-old Logan woman remains in the Cache County Jail on kidnapping charges for allegedly trying to take a young child from her mother, according to law enforcement. Ashley Michelle Hard was booked back on April 8th into the Cache County Jail. Now, according to the affidavit of probable cause, Logan City police officers were dispatched to the jump zone on a reported family dispute. Now, the complainant reported Hard was in a verbal altercation with a sister. Now, as the dispute continued, Hard reportedly picked up the alleged victim's daughter and attempted to keep her away from the other woman. Now, the two women continued arguing as the child began screaming. Both women and the child were still in the parking lot when police arrived on the scene. Now, officers reported several items were thrown around the parking lot. Surveillance footage showed Hard physically capturing the child and keeping her away from her mother, the arrest affidavit detailed. And when police attempted to take Hard into custody, she became combative and tried to resist being placed in handcuffs. She claimed to have taken the child to protect her from the alleged victim. Now, Hard remains in jail being held without bail. She could face up to life in prison if convicted. Well, the pilot of the tourist helicopter that crashed in the waters off of Manhattan last week, killing all 6 aboard, was a graduate of Southern Utah University. Now, a Southern Utah spokesperson said that 36-year-old Sean Johnson had graduated with a commercial helicopter pilot license from the Cedar City School in 2023. Now, before attending and graduating from SUU, Johnson grew up in Chicago and was a technician with the Navy SEALs. He later repaired helicopters aboard the USS Ronald Reagan and was part of naval operations rendering aid in Japan after the 2011 earthquake and tsunami. Now, after flying tourist helicopters in Chicago, Johnson had moved to New York City 2 weeks before Thursday's accident, in which he was flying a family of 5 on a sightseeing tour before the helicopter broke apart and fell into the Hudson River. Now, New York Helicopter Tours, the company employed Johnson, announced over the weekend that it was closing down immediately. The National Transportation Safety Board says their investigation into the crash is in its early stages, and they don't know yet what caused the accident. Now, video posted online appeared to show the helicopter breaking apart in flight, inverting before crashing into the river. And a retired Utah firefighter is accused of stealing more than $20,000 from a nonprofit group that travels the country honoring fallen first responders. Former Unified Fire Authority paramedic Christopher Thurman was treasurer of the Utah Firefighters Emerald Society from 2017 to 2024 and had volunteered at many events as a member of the band. Now, court filings back in early April show that Thurman was charged with second-degree felony theft stemming from claims of misusing nearly $22,000. Now, according to the charging documents, Thurman admitted to an attorney hired by the Utah Firefighters Emerald Society Board for making countless unauthorized point-of-sale transactions and ATM withdrawals that were then used for personal purchases. Well, showers expected overnight tonight as temperatures are going to drop into the low 40s, and we're going to see a mix of rain and snow then for tomorrow, as clouds expected to continue through at least Friday afternoon, as temperatures going to get a little bit colder than what we've had over the last several days. Tomorrow, high temps expected to be only around 50, then high 40s for Friday. We'll start to see some sunshine, though, by Friday afternoon, and it looks like for the weekend, well, some sun and clouds for Easter weekend, with temperatures starting off in the mid to high 50s on Saturday, low 60s on Sunday. And it's Cardall's Insulation that brings you weather. If you're constantly adjusting your thermostat, it may not be the furnace or air conditioner. Check out the insulation in your home, especially if your home was built before in the 1980s. Call Cardall's Insulation. They can give you an estimate at 755-5012. And I'm Will Feelwright with your KVNU News Update.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. The major stock index is selling off today following remarks by Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, warning that Trump tariffs could drive up inflation and hurt economic growth.
Both survey and market-based measures of near-term inflation expectations have moved up significantly, with survey participants pointing to tariffs.
California Governor Gavin Newsom filing a lawsuit to block the impact of the tariffs, saying farmers' lives are being upended in the state and that the president doesn't have the constitutional authority to levy them. A federal judge to launch contempt of court proceedings over whether the Trump administration ignored a court order to return to the U.S. 2 planes filled with alleged gang members heading to El Salvador. Judge James Boasberg raising the prospect of appointing an independent lawyer. Pennsylvania State Police say the suspected arsonist of the governor's mansion who allegedly tried to kill Governor Josh Shapiro targeted him over, quote, perceived injustices to the people of Palestine. This is ABC News.
Hi, I'm Wendy, co-founder of Bell Sculpt. I know what it's like to feel uncomfortable in your own skin, worrying about how you look, feeling drained, and just not like yourself. Hormone changes, pregnancy, or aging can lead to weight gain and challenges that aren't your fault. That's why I believe so strongly in what we do at Bell Sculpt. I've had a procedure myself, and it transformed more than just my shape. It boosted my energy, metabolism, and confidence. If you're ready to feel like yourself again, Bell Sculpt is here to help. Book your free consultation at bellsculpt.fm.
Your landscape should be a place to relax, entertain, and spend family time. Canyon Landscaping designs and installs livable landscapes that define space in new or existing yards. Hardscapes with retaining walls, paver and stone patios, and walkways each create privacy, interest, and purpose, plus fire pits and sitting walls to add value to any yard. Go to canyonlandscaping.com for more details, then call to schedule your free consultation. Call 752-3838 or go to canyonlandscaping.com. Canyon Landscaping. Look for the leaf.
If you have an aging loved one who could use a little extra help, you may wonder how much help is needed. Legacy House of Logan may be what you're looking for. Their different levels of care can accommodate your loved one no matter his or her needs. From daily tasks like dressing and bathing and medical administration to more advanced care for those with dementia. Legacy House of Logan offers all the comforts of home with a caring staff who really know how to take care of your loved ones. We invite you to stop by and see if Legacy House of Logan is right for your loved one on 1400 North in Logan.
Join us each week for Music in the Spoken Word featuring the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, the longest-running continuous weekly network broadcasting the world. Each episode features modern and traditional arrangements of spiritual, classical, and contemporary music and a timely, inspiring message. Truly an uplifting program that will have you returning each week. Music and the Spoken Word with the Tabernacle Choir.
Sunday mornings at 8 and again in the afternoons at 6 on News Talk KVNU.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. They say it's all right.
say it's
Welcome back to
alright.
KVN News for the People. Joined in the studio by two very special guests. Jaime Andrus, CEO and President of the Cache Chamber of Commerce, and Jeanette Esplin, who is Director of the Logan Summer Citizen Program. We talked about this briefly with Jaime when she was in last month for the regular chamber spotlight we do each month. But we asked her to come back and bring Jeanette with her because we'd heard from listeners, locals primarily, who were getting the impression that the Summer Citizen Program was a bit scaled back this year because news had gotten around that Utah Festival Opera was not going to be a part of events through, and they usually fill all of July. And nothing could be further from the truth. And so we reached out, and Jaime and Jeanette were kind enough to come in on short notice. And Jeanette, we talked about it before the news break there, that there's just a lot going on. And we were joking through the break. I want to take some of these classes, and we'll try and talk about every event we can here. But can you maybe start us out with these? So there's the Tabernacle Choir and Temple Square tours. There's the Bear River Heritage Area Tour with Ross Peterson. These are part of the Summer Citizen Program, and those are big events. But like, I'm looking at the calendar here, and for the most part, every day, morning, afternoon, and evening, there is something. Literally throughout months.
Keeps us busy.
So before we really dig into this, how do you plan this? I assume you have to start like for the next year immediately after the program ends.
Oh, for sure. When we took it over like the August of whatever, 1st of 2023 to start planning for 2024 last year.
Oh, wow.
So, but what we started with is just kind of what they've been used to doing. So we did the opening social and merchant fair, which is what they've always done. So local businesses come and just tell the summer citizens who they are. And then we do a closing social and a talent show. If you need a good time, come to that talent show where you can see, I don't know, the craziest and most talented summer citizens. They're the ones who did the talent show, not us.
That is very cool.
That's really fun. We did add a health fair because some of them had started talking to us about where can I find the local hospitals, hearing aids, eye doctors.
Because some of these people are here visiting for months, right? They come in and stay for the summer.
Right. Correct. They're here from May to now the middle of August.
Okay. That's a good idea to throw a health fair in.
Yeah.
That is, and that's kind of part of the kickoff week, right? That's May 29th.
Yeah.
When that health fair happens.
Yeah, because we want them as soon as they get here, we get them oriented to the valley, and then we want to tell them about where their health services are because they're in the population that needs to know that. That
is, so officially the Summer Citizens Program starts May 22nd and then wraps up in August with, as Jeanette mentioned, just before the official end date, they'll have the closing social and talent show. And I'm not joking here. This is literally every day from classes at USU and BTech to musical events, food events, tours, educational events, and more. Every single day on the calendar throughout the summer here, there is an event in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. You've got a lot of local partners. You've partnered with the Stokes Nature Center and Jump to the Moon for nature classes and art classes. Local Andersons with the
Seed and Garden. They did some classes last year. They're going to do them again this year.
Yeah. Those were popular.
Very popular.
This was gardening tips, basically, with Mark and crew.
Yeah,
it's great.
Prodigy has some good classes, too, that we've put up on the website as well. And we have a lot more that I just haven't gotten to yet. So they just need to come back and check out the website.
And I'm looking through these, and so I'm fascinated with the chemistry of certain things, especially very old beverages.
Oh.
And so there is an introduction to whiskey tour, how it's made, basically, the art of Scotch. Prodigy Brewing doing a tour as well. The science behind that is fascinating. Even if you're not a drinker, it is honestly fascinating. This is just really cool to see. And again, many locals don't know this is for them, right, Jeanette?
That's true. That is true. And that's one of the things that we want to get out into the public is that everybody is welcome. It's only $50. That gives you a T-shirt, which we haven't talked about that yet.
That T-shirt gets you perks.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. We call it T-shirt Tuesday, and that's if you wear your T-shirt into local businesses that participate, you get a discount.
That's right. And a couple of businesses I see here offering free stuff, free focaccia bread at Barrel and Stave. I would get the T-shirt just for the free focaccia bread.
Right. Well, isn't there the Aggie ice cream?
Yeah,
I want to get one.
Mm-hmm.
That's
As
right.
a couple, you can get ice cream every single Tuesday.
That's very cool.
Yeah. And tons of other
We have
fun
about
things.
these. The ones up there now are from last year, but a lot of them are doing the same ones, and we have 25 so far.
Wow.
So
You'll be hard
the back of the T-shirt.
You'll be hard pressed to get every one of those deals throughout the summer. You'll have to be really busy on a Tuesday.
That is impressive. So again, locals included. $50. You get the T-shirt, a coupon book, program orientation. You get to be part of the merchant fair, the closing social, the ice cream social with Mayor Daines.
Correct.
There. Sunday Under the Trees lecture series. You mentioned that, Jamie. These are, you can actually learn things from USU scientists and researchers under, not kidding, under a tree.
Under the trees.
In the shade.
In the shade.
On the lawn. It's
Old Main Hill.
I snuck into one of those once.
It's really fun.
Don't tell the director of the Summer Citizens Program, but I just walked across the grass and sat down with them, and I learned about algae.
Terrific. The library, did you see this? The Merrill Kazare Library is doing some events. Remember also the Lyric Theater is full on, and look at their shows. They've got a ton of things.
Yeah.
So if you see all the shows at the Lyric, if you go to the free concert every day at the Tabernacle, and you take a few of these classes along the sides, and take a tour. We're going to have more tours to Bear Lake and Beaver Creek Lodge. They promised us 4 events.
Oh, really? Very
so
cool.
we're really excited about that. We have a local woman who grew up in Soda Springs. She lives here now. She's planning some trips. 1 trip to Soda Springs and 1 trip to Lava Hot Springs.
Honestly, this is huge.
And you're going to hear history that you would never know about if you were driving through Soda Springs.
Yeah.
I can guarantee
And there is a lot of history
is
between here and Soda Springs.
It's going to be fun.
That is, again, the Summer Citizens Program is open to locals. Again, many locals don't know that. Cashchamber.com, click on Summer Citizens, and then, as Jamie mentioned, click on events, and you'll see everything we're talking about here. And I have to ask this before we go to our last break. Jeanette, can you tell us, so there are optional benefits. These are things that, above and beyond all the free stuff, you can buy into other things like guided tours, and there's a campus recreational membership that you can get to use the campus workout center and all of that. But USU Outdoor Programs is going to be doing field trips. And then that intrigues me because I know USU Outdoor Program, they're involved with a lot of really cool research projects around northern Utah. I don't want to ask you to spoil anything, but can you give us a hint?
Well, that is news to me, actually.
Oh, sorry. I just see it at the bottom of the website for optional benefits.
It is, because Utah State is always adding more and more things as to enhance the program as well, because they love the summer citizens just as much as we do.
That is very cool.
They have a lot of tours. I know that they added a bunch just 2 weeks ago. So
that is very cool. This is, and again, the USU also kind of donating everything from historical talks to access to certain collections at the Merrill Kazare Library. Locals don't know that everyone knows of the Summer Citizen Program, but most locals you talk to, I think, believe this is kind of for others who are traveling out of state to stay here for the summer. No, locals can be a part of this too, and it's $50 to get access to all of this. And we haven't even talked about everything I mentioned Jump to the Moon doing the art classes, but this is like a week-by-week workshop they're doing, just for an example.
It lasts all summer. You could take all 4, I think it's 4 classes.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Watercoloring, basic watercolor, drawing. Then also we have We're going to do a special concert. The folks that put on the cowboy poetry, did you see that? Western music and cowboy poetry.
Oh, really?
Review. And that's a free concert for the summer citizens only.
That's very cool.
We're doing a special tour for the Lavender Festival, and it's open to the public, of course, but they've got something special for the summer citizens. And we're adding things as we speak. So daily,
That
as
is
Jeanette
very cool.
said, come back, take a look at what is offered. The BTEC classes, some of them are already full, so sign
I would
up
assume,
and register.
Looking at some of these class options,
They're fun, aren't they?
Yeah, this is just to give listeners a little taste. And also, I should mention this too. There is a summer citizen only guided tour of the Firefly Park with a little history of the fireflies in Nibley. That's pretty cool because this is kind of a local secret. So a guided tour. But yeah, some of these classes, just to give people examples, you've got everything from fun stuff like ukulele for beginners, which I'm interested in, to line dancing, but practical stuff too, like bicycle maintenance, brain fitness, learning Portugal, optimizing your phone or tablet, what happens to your estate when you die, practical things like that, ins and outs of Google Drive. That's very cool. And also, history and world geography, history of Saudi Arabia, understanding and improving communication. I'm just reading from a list here, glancing around. This is really cool stuff. Education programs, activities, tours, music, food, free stuff, lots of free stuff, all part of the Summer Citizen program. And it's $50. And yes, it is. That's the point of our conversation today. It is open to locals as well. And stick around. More of our guests here in the studio. President and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, Jaime Andrus, and Director of the Logan Summer Citizen Program, Jeanette Esplin, here in the studio. And we'll be back right after this.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
The Greater Cache Valley Economic and Business Summit, brought to you by the Cache Valley Chamber of Commerce, is Tuesday, April 29th at the Riverwoods Conference Center, focusing on local Cache Valley businesses, along with a State of the County address by David Zook and keynote speaker Michael Jeanfro. Enjoy a day of networking, learning about Cache Valley's economy, and lunch catered by Elements. Register now at cachechamber.com. That's cachechamber.com for the Greater Cache Valley Economic and Business Summit, sponsored by the Bank of Utah, April 29th at the Riverwoods.
New Atlas, or up to $5,500 off a new Atlas Crossport. When you walk through our doors, you feel like family at Murdoch Volkswagen in Logan or online at murdochvw.com.
Call 888-391-6083 to see dealer for complete details. Offer expires 4/30/25.
Cache Equipment in Hyde Park has been serving the farmers, ranchers, contractors, even homeowners for years. And now they've got a new name, Black Cliffs Equipment. Different name, but the same trusted team. Same top quality Kubota and Massey Ferguson tractors and equipment. And the same commitment to service to keep you moving forward. Whether you're plowing fields, hauling hay, or breaking ground on something big, Black Cliffs Equipment is here for you. Located in Hyde Park and online at blackcliffsequipment.com.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Thursday on This Morning, America's First News, a look at the little-known government task force that has universities across the country very anxious, doing things like targeting federal funding. Also, are job candidates leaning on artificial intelligence during the interview process? Hear how hiring managers can tell. And turning to gold as a safe investment is now a good time to buy. Thursday on This Morning, America's First News. From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
News for the People. Jaime Andrus, the CEO and president of Cache Chamber of Commerce and director of the Logan Summer Citizen Program, Jeanette Esplin, our guests here this hour. And we've just got a couple of minutes left. And Jaime, you wanted me to remind everyone, we talked about the Iceland trip that folks can buy into. And the deadline on that, you have to register for this by the end of August or end of April in order to go on the August trip. And so if you're planning on joining the Summer Citizen Program, this is kind of in conjunction with that. You don't have to be a part of the Summer Citizen Program to go on the Iceland trip. It's a chamber event, but Summer Citizens will be invited. If you are going to go, you got to buy in before the end of April.
Yeah, you've got to know now and plan for an August. Isn't that one of the best times to go to Iceland?
Yeah, it is. It is a perfect time. The days are still long.
Yeah.
But the whales in August.
What we're hoping
for.
for.
You can see it's one of the few times in Iceland you can see the whales in the bay there outside, just off of Reykjavik.
And again, it is a great price.
Yeah, this is cheap. This is honestly, this is cheap for kind of an all-inclusive, they're taking care of the housing, the transportation, the everything kind of trip. But end of April is the deadline. CacheChamber.com for more information on that. And also, click on the Summer Citizens Program, look through these events, and local or not, be a part of this. It's so cool that this happens every summer for a lot of different reasons. But I think most of us, myself included, after today, didn't realize how much is involved. And
remember, it's great for our local economy. Think of these people, these tourists, these people that come and stay for the summer. Be a part, reach out to them, talk to them, talk to us, come see us if you have any questions. We're open every day, 9 to 5, so come to the chamber offices. We're right on Main Street, right next to the Law Plaza. Come on in.
Thank you. Jaime and Jeanette, both spending an hour of your day with us. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for doing that. To our listeners for being here, too. CacheChamber.com for more information on the Summer Citizens Program and all the